Hello. We're going to work on exercise 3D. And again, this is a very important concept that you'll use in many different ways when working with GIS and data. And that is connecting data to try to answer questions. So they give you an actual question, an actual hypothesis, an actual potential scenario, which is, do the obesity rates correlate with higher numbers of food deserts, which are low income areas with limited access to full service grocery stores? We actually have a food desert in our area, because if you look at Atlantic City, there are no major grocery stores. All right, so the way we're going to do this is we're going to create a relationship between a food desert layer and the Illinois County layer that we've been working with. So you want to make sure that you have your health study project that we've been working with up, and we're going to make sure we're in the Illinois map, and we're going to turn off the medium income and 2004 layers and collapse those legends. Then we're going to add the food deserts layer to our map. So again, if we come back here, make sure we're in the Illinois map. I'm going to turn off that particular layer and collapse it. And then we're going to turn off the 2004 and collapse it as well. Okay. And then we want to add the food desert. So remember, make sure you can see your catalog pane. And you're going to go to your folders and that health study folder, and we're looking in the data. And again, as mentioned, you're going to find the food deserts layer. And again, we want the layer file, which is LYRX. And once you add that layer, you want to take a look at the attribute table. Okay, so again, just open up my catalog, find that food deserts layer, and we're going to drag it right over here. So now it's popped at the top, and we can see in the green are these food deserts. Oop. You can click on it, and we can take a look at the attribute table, and you can see the information here that it has. Okay. So now we want to relate this to our 2010. So in the contents pane, we're going to right click 2010. We're going to do a join and relate. So we're going to add a relationship or a relate. And then you're going to enter in these particular parameters when you run the tool. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at that. Okay, so we'll right click and we'll go to our joins and relates. I'm going to add a relate. So here's our table. And we want to make sure that we have the 2010, then the Illinois county name. So our 2010 and our Illinois county name. Then we want the relate table is going to be in the food deserts, and the output is the county. So our relate table is going to be the food, and our output is going to be the county. We're going to leave this relate name right now, and we're going to do and leave it on the one-to-many. Okay, and the one-to-many means because some counties will have multiple cities, and so each of those cities could have a food desert. So we have one county which can have many food deserts. Okay, and then when we do that, as soon as you get everything in, you're going to run the tool, which again means to click on OK. And now we've got that run. And then on the map tab, we're going to activate the select tool and click the county shown in the graphic. So this area right here. Okay, so we'll head back, make sure we're on the map tool. You'll see select here. We click on it, and you should again notice that your arrow is arrow with a little box. And then we're going to click on that county right there, which again, it looks, the dimensions may look a little bit off simply because how zoomed in they are. Okay, so that's all right. Then we're going to open up the 2010 attribute table and click the show selected records button, which is down here in the lower left-hand corner. You can see it here. Right. So again, I'm going to open up 2010 attribute table. So down here, attribute table, and we're going to click on the show selected. Okay. And once we have that up, then at the top of the table, click the options menu, which again is that little 3, and click related data. Come down here, and then from there, we're going to go to the food deserts. Okay. So our options table, related data, food deserts. And again, what this is now showing us is we're now in this table, and it's showing us what records in this table share the same county that we had selected here. So we used the 2010 to select Knox, and then from Knox, we used our related data, because we have those two joined now, or related, so that it will give us the fact that here we have 4 actual food deserts. Okay. And again, if you wanted to practice this, you could try that by trying others. But for now, we don't need to worry about that. So we're just going to close the table and clear any selections. We're just going to close our tables. And excuse me, up here, we can just clear, and that gets rid of the blue. Okay, so now we want to join the data using that common attribute. And this is a spatial join. So again, it's letting us look, oops, sorry there. It's letting us look at the two data tables, attribute tables, and looking at what's connected with them. Okay, and again, I'm not going to go over all of this, but please read this over because it's going to go through the concepts behind. So you're not just pointing and clicking, but you're actually seeing why are we trying to do this? Again, most GIS, there's always a question, there's always a query, there's always a scenario or hypothesis, and we're trying to see if the data answers that question or not. All right, so we're going to turn off the food deserts layer and clear any selected features. And then we're going to go to the analysis tab. And again, in that analysis gallery, we're going to click the spatial join and set up the spatial join like this. So again, we're going to, excuse me, turn off the food deserts. Okay, and make sure we've cleared everything. And then from our analysis tab, remember this is the gallery, and again, as mentioned, we're looking for the spatial join. We'll get our little geoprocessing pane up, and excuse me, again, you want to make sure everything here is matching the parameters. So the target feature should be 2010, the The join features Illinois food desert, and so on. Okay, so again, you want to set all of this up. And then this step 5, just ignore. It was saying you could try another layer if you want to, but just ignore step 5. So essentially, you want to come here to your spatial join, add everything in, okay? And then once you've gotten all of these set up so that they match what you see here, then you're just going to go ahead and run. Again, I'm getting a little bit of a error right here because I've been doing this before to demonstrate and grade. If you get one there, don't worry about it. Now, again, mine popped up as a lilac. Yours may pop up as a different color, and that's fine. But again, for this, don't worry about doing this step 5. All right, because that's a little bit of it should have been you can try this. So kind of ignore it. All right, so we've run the tool and we've got our new layer. So now we need to change the layer a little bit. First, we want to get rid of the background because as you can see, we can't see now our obesity coloring. So again, to do this, you're going to want to get into the symbology. So we're working on this. Lots of ways you can do that. You can right click. You can click on symbology if you want. And sorry, my panel, you can see it for a minute because I've been moving my panels around, but I've got the symbology panel up now. And again, you'll see it says use a single symbol and choose no background. So we've got single symbol here. Okay. And we're going to, click here on mine's pink. You'll click on whatever your color is. And then you're here in the gallery. And so then you're going to scroll on mine. It's like very close towards the bottom. But there it is. So no background. Okay. So we're going to turn on the no background. And then we need to label because we actually want to see the number, how many food deserts are actually there. So we're going to select that spatial join layer that we created, and then we're going to click the labeling tab. Okay, so again, making sure this is selected. Then we're going to click up here on our labeling tab. Okay, and then from there, you'll see it says leave the class 1, and underneath change the field to the LILA tracks. And click on this and you'll have to scroll and find it. Okay, so now we have that done, but you have to turn on the labels. All right, so again, in the contents pane, excuse me, you can right click the layer and click label to turn on the labels. And now we've got our numbers. And again, this is showing you how many different food deserts there are. Okay. And again, what's nice is you see, well, it kind of looks like it. There's not an obvious because some red have 0 and some of the lower have very high numbers. So sometimes when you're looking at this, they don't always directly, maybe the answer is there isn't a correlation. A no answer is just as good as a yes answer when you're doing data and looking and trying to answer the questions. All right, so again, make sure you save your project and then share the project with me for exercise 3D. All right, take care.